because this is not like we're recording some regular song, that the kids can be seated on the grass and and chilled out and singing the song. This is the national anthem. So when we are recording the national anthem or even rehearsing it, they have to be standing at attention. My parents would, because my parents would play the national anthem at home at times, or I'd see it on television and things like that. I'm talking about when I was about 2 years old. So the national anthem was a tune that I knew. Because there are tribal students over there, and the tribal students are taken care of, and of course at any given point of time there are 40,000 tribal students over there, and they are, as Sir mentioned and as I mentioned, they are completely lodged, they are completely taken care of, free of cost.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं रूप सिंह गुसाई और आप देख रहे हैं ANC इंडिया। सभी दर्शकों का बहुत स्वागत है। और आज इस वक्त मैं मौजूद हूं द लीला पैलेस चाणक्यपुरी में, और यहां पर एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होने वाली है जिसमें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के भारतीय संगीतकार रिकी केज यहां पर हैं, जिन्होंने कि अभी हाल ही में लगभग 100 संगीतकारों की टीम के साथ, जिसमें से 10 भारतीय प्रमुख संगीतकार हैं, उसके अलावा बाकी के मेंबर्स हैं, और इन्होंने एक जो है भारतीय राष्ट्रगान को एक नया रूप दिया है और बहुत सुंदर प्रस्तुति है, और इसी को लेकर के ये एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे हैं। मैं बता दूं कि रिकी केज 3 बार के ग्रैमी अवार्ड विनर हैं और गीत संगीत को लेकर के 30 से अधिक देशों में जो है अपना प्रदर्शन कर चुके हैं, और इस तरह से पूरे विश्व में जो है अपने भारतीय संगीत की परचम को लहरा रहे हैं। तो आइए चलते हैं इस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में।
Like, and you see all of those kids assembled in front of you. It's just unbelievable. So all of that inspired me that I have to do more and more work with this institute, and I have to support this institute as much as possible. And of course, I'm a goodwill ambassador with the United Nations. I work very closely with the United Nations, and so even in that role, I try to do as much as I can for this institute, because I think this institute needs to be supported by everybody. And of course, whatever I mentioned about the institute, all of that is Dr. Rachita Samant. So it's his passion that puts everything together. Take a big round of applause for him. And that is what. And it's just, the other thing is that, I don't know if you noticed it, but in the national anthem video, you can see in a few shots that it was raining during the time we were recording the kids. So it was raining pretty much. We had rehearsals for about 1.5 days, and we had the actual recording after that. So during the rehearsals and the recording, it was raining the whole time, and the kids were steadfast, because this is not like we're recording some regular song, that the kids can be seated on the grass and and chilled out and singing the song. This is the national anthem. So when we are recording the national anthem or even rehearsing it, they have to be standing at attention. And that was something that worried me. Are we going to be able to keep the attention of the children alive for that longer time? But the children, it was absolutely amazing. Like the children were extremely enthusiastic. They wanted to give their best. There was not a single time where I had to tell the children that you have to sing a little louder, a little more enthusiastically. Everything was absolutely perfect. So it was a very enjoyable experience.
Thank you. What the inspiration to create this?
So the thing is that the national anthem itself, as some of you may have been here last year for when I released the orchestral version, is the first piece of music that I ever learned how to play. My parents would, because my parents would play the national anthem at home at times, or I'd see it on television and things like that. I'm talking about when I was about 2 years old. So the national anthem was a tune that I knew, and my parents had, even though my parents are not musicians, nobody in my family is a musician. We had a small keyboard at home. Maybe my father at some point thought that, maybe he wanted to be a musician, but he never pursued it. But we had a small keyboard at home, and the thing about the national anthem is that the first few notes of the national anthem are quite repetitive, the notes, It's the same note that is played again and again. So I ended up just hitting a note on the keyboard, and I was like, wow, this sounds like the national anthem. And then in about 2 or 3 days, I figured out how to play the whole national anthem. So it's a piece of music that is pretty much in my blood. It's under my skin. It's something that I know really well, and something that I respect a lot. Also, the national anthem is a very, very good way of showcasing that music is the best unifying force. Because if you look at India as a country, I spoke about unity and diversity. You can be from any part of India, you can be across the aisle from any kind of a political, ideology, but the minute you listen to the national anthem, you feel like standing up immediately. And you have this deep respect for your country, and you also understand and you find a renewed, you find you want to fulfill your duties towards our country, when you listen to the national anthem. And that's the beauty of this piece of music. So that's the reason why, like I constantly, repeatedly, like if I have to tell you quickly, in 2015 I did a version of the national anthem that was dedicated to the forests and wildlife of our country. It was launched on an album at the climate change conference in Paris, the COP21 climate change conference, and that also was directed by Sairam, that particular video. Then I did another video which was, I did another version of the national anthem in 2021 where I was mentoring a bunch of refugees who are living in India, who are musicians, but once they came into India, they were not able to fulfill their passions of music because they would sing in a language which was not familiar in India. These are refugees from Afghanistan, from Myanmar, from Sri Lanka, and from Cameroon. And I was mentoring them through the United Nations. And then we were celebrating our 75th year of independence in 2021. It was 2022 this happened. So I casually told them that we want to do something for the Independence Day in India. So then they said that, yeah, we'll sing the national anthem. And I said, you know the national anthem? They said, yeah, we know the national anthem really well. And that was quite surprising for me. So then I flew to Delhi, we recorded the national anthem and we put that out. And that also, it was quite a successful version of the national anthem. And then last year was the Symphony Orchestra, and I thought that would be the end of it. But then we are here again today.
What message do you hope to convey through this new release?
I guess, a renewed love for our country, that is what is most important. Because I think that we need to, sometimes people need to be reminded, that we need to work towards our country, we need to work towards individual action. I think these are the things that I would like to, it's just a renewed love for our country, that's all that I would like to have. Because in this case, you're showing unity and diversity, plus you're showing a unique sonic identity of India with all of these brilliant musicians. So I think no better way to showcase to people a renewed love for our country.
Sir, how are you able to cast all the great musician in your video?
I'm a very persistent person. I do not take no for an answer. So it was just me constantly calling them up, and of course everybody was interested, but everybody's busy, right? So it's impossible to get all of their time when you need their time, and to make our schedules match, for recording, because I wanted to be present for every single recording. I did not want to just tell them, okay, record it and send it. I wanted to be present for every recording. So yeah, so basically, I would say that I was very persistent, and also at the same time, everybody themselves were very enthusiastic to be a part of this project. So both of these things put together. And that's the beauty of these legendary musicians. It's very easy to work with them, because I always believe that the higher the ability of a person and the higher the skill of a person, the lower the ego of a person. So it's very simple to work with people who are very skilled. And at the same time, the notes of the national anthem, the actual notes, that is the tune of the national anthem, that is absolutely sacrosanct. You cannot change that, the notes of the national anthem. But what you can do is that you can bring in a brilliant musician to play those notes in the most beautiful way. And that is what they've done. They've played the exact notes of the national anthem, but being the brilliant musicians they are, they've played it in an extremely beautiful way. And that is what they've done. They've taken this beautiful composition by Sri Rabindranath Tagore, and what they've done is that they've uplifted it through their skill and through their virtuosity.
So you worked on the national anthem before also, like you said. How different was it working on it this time, especially with the children?
It was huge logistically. It was very, very difficult logistically, as I mentioned. Working with the children was extremely easy, but figuring out how we are going to do it, Like as you saw, there was a cross like in the middle of the stage. So the reason why we did that is that so that we could divide the children into 4 quadrants, because there are 4-part harmonies, and I could walk across the platform so that I could be closer to as many children as possible. So that is something that we devised, that this would be a good way to do it. Then of course how to position the microphones, because we need to record them, and we need to record them really well. So the recording was done very early in the morning. It was done at about 6 a.m. in the morning. I think they assembled this. The children started assembling at about 5:30. You saw that video of all the children walking into the stadium. So they assembled at about 5:30, and at about 6:15, 6:30 is when we started recording it, and we did the whole Guinness record attempt. So that was very, very difficult. Not because it was difficult to get the logistics in place, but it was difficult to figure out how are we going to do this, because it's never been done before. If it has been done before, like recording the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, orchestras have been recorded so many times in the past. So we know that we need to use 110 microphones, and we need to use this recording studio, we need a console, so everything is in place. There has to be a sheet of music in front of everybody. But in this case, it has never been done before. So how do we do that? That was the challenge. 5 p.m.
Expecting another Grammy?
I mean that, but that's the thing, that's the beauty of awards, right? That awards can be always taken upon as two ways. One way is vanity, yeah, I won this award, I'm better than everybody else. Or the second way, especially in my case, because all of my music comes with a strong message, that, I look at awards. Awards is not the end goal, but I look at trying to create great stuff, at least in my eyes. And then if I win an award, then I'm very appreciative of that. Because some people say that, oh, I don't like awards and all. I like awards. The reason why I like awards is that each and every award is a platform for more and more people to take you seriously. And it opens doors for you to collaborate with, musicians that you always wanted to collaborate with. And especially since my music has got a message, it's a very good way to spread my message further and wider. So I look at every award, and I'm very grateful for every award, because it helps me spread my music and my message further and wider. Yeah.
Hi, I have a question. That, of course, when you divided like Bharat, the map, then in Hindi Bharat, and then the map, how many takes it took to take that particular shot from the bird eye view?
You can ask Sairam about it. It was just because he is the one who flew the drone to actually film that. No, it was very simple actually. Because as I told you, the children are very disciplined. The staff at Kalinga Institute of Social Sciences, their physical training staff, they're absolutely amazing. And whenever Dr. Achyuta Samant is on stage, everybody's in rapt attention. So, and everybody absolutely adore him and they love him. It's very difficult to find an institute like that, where you actually like your teachers, At least for me in my school, it wasn't that way. But nevertheless, the thing is that everybody loved their teachers and everybody loved, the founder and all of that stuff. So it was very easy to get the children to do that. It took almost no time. With 14,000 children over there making those formations and all that, I kid you not, it was a total of 30 minutes to get this done. That's it. So 30 minutes, everybody were there, the drone was flown, and then everything was done.
So why do you choose Kalinga Institute?
Because there are tribal students over there, and the tribal students are taken care of, and of course, at any given point of time, there are 40,000 tribal students over there, and they are, as Sir mentioned and as I mentioned, they are completely lodged, they are completely taken care of, free of cost. And these are children from underprivileged communities and tribal communities. So it's a huge blessing to work with them. That's all I can say.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. I'll be available over here anyway.
इसी के साथ मैं रूप सिंह गुसाई आप सभी से अनुमति चाहता हूं, और आज की प्रस्तुति आपको कैसे लगी, अपने सुझाव और विचार हमारे साथ जरूर साझा कीजिएगा। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद, जय भारत।